Testing, testing, one, two, three. Oh, sorry. I was just talking and nobody could have heard me. Thank you so much for whoever pointed that out. So I want to say again, thank you everyone for coming in. I apologize for that. I forgot to unmute my mic. Okay, so I fixed that now. So what I was saying is I rebranded to Derech Ha'Chaim because Judaism is not just about a religion. Judaism is a way of life. Derech Ha'Chaim in Hebrew means a way of life. And our slogan, I guess you could say, is where questions are welcome, because your questions are always welcome. No matter how big or small your questions are, you should never, ever, ever feel embarrassed to ask anything. So we're live right now on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. If anybody doesn't have any of those platforms, I'm also live on Zoom. And if you have to step out in the middle, or you didn't hear something or whatever, on YouTube you can go back and rewatch it right now or even later on, because it will be posted under the live section in YouTube. So that will be there. I hope everybody had an amazing Shabbat. I know I did. Shabbat is always, a lot of people say that Shabbat is like, oh, did you keep? Was it hard for you to keep? And it's like, Shabbat is not supposed to be hard for you to keep. Shabbat should be something that you enjoy doing. Think about this. All these people, how they say you have to step away from your phone, you have to be more with your family and stuff like that. And that's what Shabbat is all about. Thanksgiving, people, secular people, get together maybe once or twice in the whole year, and they're like, oh my God, we have to prepare so much and this and that. But are you forgetting Shabbat? Look at us. Shabbat, every week we sit as if we do a Thanksgiving dinner, and the more food you have on the table, the better it is. It's actual mitzvah. It's a mitzvah to have as many types of foods on your table as possible. Whether it be fish, salads, meat, chicken, doesn't matter what it is. It's the most beautiful thing, and we have it every week for free. It's insane to me when people say it's so hard for me to keep Shabbat, because it's not supposed to be something that's hard. It's supposed to be something that you enjoy doing. And if you don't enjoy doing it, you're doing something wrong. And this is why I created this class. But that's not what we're going to talk about today. Today, we're going to talk about Shkamat HaBoker, so the prayers that we say when we wake up. So I'm not going to talk about halachot, about when to say, what to say, and stuff like that. I'm going to talk about why we say it and what we say, because a lot of people, whenever they read what they call brachot, they don't understand it. They say it, but they never actually comprehend what they're reading. And a lot of people that do understand Hebrew, they try to understand it, but it doesn't make sense to them. And so I'm gonna start off. So I'm gonna actually share my screen right here. This is sifriya.org, I guess. I guess they try to say Sifriya, unless I'm reading it wrong. But regardless, this is a very, very good website that has an entire siddur online. You can access this from your phone, from your computer, from your tablet, from wherever you want. I'm not sure how good the screen is on the phone, so I'm gonna increase the size a little bit so you guys can see it a little better. I will rely on your input to tell me if you can see what it is that I'm showing. But the first thing that I want to talk about is Modeh. Now, the second you wake up, the first thing you say for a man, Modeh ani lefanecha, melech chai vekayam, שהחזרת בי נשמתי וחמלה רבה אמונתך. For a woman, you say Modeh ani. This is just Hebrew grammar, but at the end of the day, it means the same thing. It means I am thankful for you, living and enduring King, for you have mercifully restored my soul within me. Great is your faithfulness. Now, if we think about this, why do we say your faithfulness? Are we like, why are we telling God you're the one that has faith in us? We're supposed to be the ones that have faith in Him. So it kind of doesn't make sense. It's supposed to say nishmati vechemla rabba emunati, not emunatecha. But it's not, because the moment you woke up, you haven't proven anything yet. You don't know if today you're going to be patient or if you're going to mess up. You don't know if you're going to rise or fall. So we begin the day by saying, this isn't about my history. This isn't about what I did before. It's not about if I was good yesterday, if I was good last year, if I was good 2 days ago, or if I was bad. Doesn't matter. It's about God saying, I trust you that today you are gonna do better. Every morning your soul is returned to you before you even earn it. Can you imagine that? Imagine you go somewhere and they give you something and then they tell you, don't worry, you can pay for it later. Maybe you're not gonna make enough money today. Pay later. It's okay. Think about that for a second. It's Hashem putting our trust, His trust in us and giving us our soul back. That's the first thing that we say whenever we wake up. And it's the most beautiful thing ever. A lot of people don't notice that great is your faithfulness. So now you know. Very, very interesting point. Now the next thing we say is the Birkot HaShachar. So usually when somebody wakes up, they go to the bathroom, they wash their hands, they blow their nose, they brush their teeth, they go use the bathroom, whatever it is. So the first thing that we're supposed to do as Jews, we're supposed to do Netilat Yadayim. Now, when you say Netilat Yadayim, when you wash your hands, you take the Natla, one on each hand, starting with your right hand, then to your left, to your right, to your left, like that 3 times. And you want to make sure that it reaches all the way to your mifrak, to your wrist. Make sure, that's why whenever you see somebody does the netila, they do, they sort of flip their hands. This is halakha, but whatever, I'm going to say it anyways. They flip their hands, you know, they pour and then they flip. Pour and flip. Make sure that you do that because you don't want to miss a single spot on your hand. Now, why hands? What about the rest of our body? The rest of our body is not unclean, I guess you could say. And the reason why it's the hands is because the hands is how we interact with the world. It's how we create, how we give, how we hurt, how we fix. Your hands represents action. So whenever we say, Baruch Ata Hashem, Elokeinu melech haolam, asher kidishana b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al netilat yadayim, we're literally saying, thank you Hashem, like, for giving me the ability to use my hands to do something, to interact with the world. Of course, we're not talking about the people, chas v'chalila, chas v'shalom, not on us, the people that don't have it. I'm not really sure how, for people who are missing limbs, I'm not really sure about the halakha when it comes to that. So I'm not really going to talk about that yet. But this is not about cleanliness, it's about intention. It's about our hands is the action to the world. So that's the first thing that we want to thank Hashem for giving us that ability to interact with the world. The next thing you say is Asher Yatzar. The blessing of Asher Yatzar is the blessing that we say after we use the restroom. We say it every time, not just in the morning, but it's written in the morning blessings because usually people say, usually when people wake up, they go use the restroom. So now, notice that every bracha starts with this Baruch Ata Hashem. That's usually every bracha starts with that. Baruch Ata Hashem. Blessed are you, Hashem. Okay? After that, Elokeinu melech haolam, some brachot have it, some brachot don't. And this we say, our God, King of the universe. It's sort of irrelevant to what I'm trying to say, but I just want you to know that whenever you see Baruch Ata Hashem, usually that's a beginning of a blessing. Okay? So now, for Asher Yatzar we say, Baruch Ata Hashem, Elokeinu melech haolam, Asher Yatzar et ha'adam bechokma, וברא בו נקבים נקבים חלולים חלולים גלוי וידוע לפני כיסא כבודך שאם יסתם אחד מהם או ייפתח אחד מהם אי אפשר להתקיים אפילו שעה אחת ברוך אתה השם רופא כל בשר ומפליא לעשות. So now over here we say blessed you are Hashem, King of the universe, who formed a man or human with wisdom and created many openings and cavities within him. And you have to understand that over here, after that part, we say, that if one of them were closed or one of them was open, it would be impossible to exist even for an hour or a short while, whatever. Why is that? If I go and stab you, how long can you survive without being patched up? You're not going to survive for long. That's the whole point of what we're saying. Because Hashem created our body in the most beautiful way possible. Can you imagine? Out of everything that's living, we have animals, we have viruses, we have fungi, we have all these different creations that God created, plants. The only one that can actually make a difference in this world is a human. But not only that, not only are we the only ones that can make the change, when you look at a cat, for example, when a cat is born, he already knows how to walk, he knows how to eat, he knows how to uh, do whatever it is that cats do, or dogs, or any other animal. They already know what to do since the day they were born. But humans don't have that. Humans, we rely on older people to take care of us. But you know the difference? Animals can't change the world like we can't change the world like we can. Look at us. We're born helpless, and whenever we grow, we can change the world. Look at what we have today. Compared to what we had according to a lot of secular people millions of years ago, there was nothing here. Look what men have done. What about animals? Why animals don't do this? Because they don't have the power to. Yes, they're born with the wisdom of how to live, but they can't do anything in this world compared to what a man can do, a human. So in this blessing, we're saying thank you to Hashem for creating our body in such a way that is perfect. Not a single hole, not a single opening, whether it's closed or open, is created improper. It's all created how it's supposed to be. And the last part of that blessing is blessed you are you Hashem, who heals all flesh and does wondrous things. Think about that. How our flesh heals, how our body works. If you cut yourself, chas v'chalila, chas v'shalom, give it a couple of days and you'll see how it heals. Are you gonna tell me that this is all created by accident? Are you seriously this ignorant to say that this was all created by accident? Nothing is on accident. Everything that Hashem does is the most beautiful thing in this entire universe. Moving forward, the next thing we say is Elokai Neshama. Now, this prayer makes something very clear. I'm going to say it out loud first. Elokai Neshama, שנתת בי טהורה, אתה בראתה, אתה יצרת, אתה נפתחת בי, ואתה משמרה בקרבי, ואתה בקרבי, ואתה עתיד לטילה ממני, ולהחזירה בי לעתיד לבוא, כל הזמן שהנשמה וקרבי. מודה for a man, מודה for a woman, אני לפניך, השם אלוקיי ואלוקי אבותיי, ריבון כל המעשים, אדון כל הנשמות, ברוך אתה השם, המחזיר נשמות לבגרים מתים. So in this prayer, we're telling Hashem, my God, the soul that you placed within me is pure. You created it, you formed it, you breathed it into me, and you preserve it within me. Think about that for a second. Hashem, our soul is part of Hashem. So whenever, and the soul is pure. Nothing, there's no such thing that a soul can be tarnished. No such thing. Whenever people tell you that soul can be tarnished, forget about it. There's no such thing. If you think about God, God is perfect. There's nothing wrong with God, and we, our soul, is part of Hashem. So the same thing, how God is pure, we're the same way. We're the real us, not our physical body, but our neshama is pure. So he formed it, he breathed it into us, and he preserves it within us. What does that mean? He preserves it. It means that no matter what happens, that soul is not going to leave the body unless God commands it. Every second, every millisecond that we're alive, it's because God is preserving our soul within our body. And that's such a crazy thing to think about. Insane thing to think about. And then the next thing we say, and in the future you will take it from me and restore it in the time to come. So you have to remember that your neshama, that your soul, is pure, but it's not yours. You didn't create it and you don't own it. You're borrowing it. And one day it will be taken back to Hashem. The next thing goes in the blessing is all the time that the soul is within me, I'm thankful before you, Hashem, my God, and God of my fathers, ruler of all creation, Lord of all souls. Blessed are you, Hashem, who restore souls to dead bodies. Because when we sleep, it's called a mitah. What is a mitah? If you take the shorish, it's met, which means death, like not alive. So God, when he breathes the soul into us, we become alive. So, and mita is bed, by the way. That's why it's called a mita, because whenever you're sleeping, you're considered dead. The next blessing that we say is Birkot HaShachar. Now, Birkot HaShachar is the most beautiful thing ever. I'll tell you why. Whenever we say Birkot HaShachar, it is, you know how people say you're ungrateful for a lot of stuff. You're ungrateful that you have hands. You're ungrateful that you have a family. You're ungrateful that you have a roof over your head, stuff like that. This is what Birkot HaShachar are for. Because we are saying thank you for all the things that we have. The first bracha is Baruch Ata Hashem Elokeinu Melech HaOlam Anoten Lesachvi Bvina Leavchin Ben Yom Uven Laila. So in this blessing, we're thanking Hashem for giving us awareness that when we wake up, we can tell when it's morning and night. We know the difference between morning and night, because there are some I'm not 100% sure about this part, but I was gonna say that there are some animals that don't know the difference, and actually it could be. Think about what it's called, fish that live underwater, very deep underwater, where no light gets there. They don't know the difference between day and night, but we do. We have the ability to tell day from night. The next one is Baruch Ata Hashem Elokeinu Melech HaOlam Pokeach Ivrim. So the next blessing, thanks Hashem for being able to see again. Every morning you open your eyes and you can see. Notice people, moments, reality. And seeing is not guaranteed, so you can never stop to say thank you for it. You have to always say thank you for being able to see. Can you imagine what a blind person goes through when he can't see? It's the most horrific thing ever. Try. Go right now, close your eyes. God forbid, go close your eyes and try to do something. Something that you usually do. You will barely be able to move. You won't be able to. Why? Because you're scared. Because you don't have that ability to see. The next blessing we have, Baruch Ata Hashem Elokeinu Melech HaOlam Matir Asurim. What does it mean, Matir Asurim? When you wake up, your body feels tight and stuck. So this blessing is for being able to move again. Your arms, your legs, to be able to breathe. Basically, it's saying thank you for the freedom, for having freedom. To be able to get up and live your life. And it's something that we don't earn, it's something that's given to us. The next blessing is Baruch Ata Hashem Elokeinu Melech HaOlam Zokef Kefufim. I'm going to stop saying the first part. I'm just going to say the last part. Zokef Kefufim. So Zokef Kefufim literally means to straighten the bent. So whenever we sleep, we're folded over. This blessing is for thanking God. This blessing is to thank God for letting us stand up straight again. It's also about emotional. Like whenever life brings you down, people, there's stress, fear, pressure. So this blessing is basically saying thank you for letting me be able to stand up today anyway, regardless of all that. It's so interesting that we read these prayers every day and we're so ignorant to what they mean. Even people who speak Hebrew. Whenever you think of Zokef Kefufim, you think about maybe elderly people who walk like this all day. You'll never think about picking you up from an emotional state. It's such a crazy thing that I'm so glad that I'm learning this as well. I'm learning as I go, 100%. Baruch Hashem, Yishtabach Shmo La'ad. The next one is Malbish Arumim, which literally means clothes the naked. And this blessing is about dignity. Clothes, let us walk into the world feeling protected and not exposed. It's not just about fabric. It's about being able to show up without feeling embarrassed. And that's something that we should be thanking God for all the time. Not just embarrassed, also feeling unsafe, which is again very beautiful thing. The next one is Anoten Layaef Koach, which means who gives strength to the tired. Even after we sleep, we wake up exhausted. So this blessing, thanks God for giving us strength anyways. Because some days the energy doesn't come from rest. It comes from above. You know, sometimes whenever you sleep for like 2 hours, you can be so energized. So this is what we're thinking for. Where is that energy coming from? It's all coming from Borei Olam. Remember, the neshama that Hashem put inside of you, the neshama that He breathed into you, He's preserving it in your body every second. And this is why we're saying thank you for being helped whenever we feel drained. The next one is Roka haaretz al hamayim. And this one literally means who spreads the earth over the waters. And this blessing is to thank God for stability. The ground feels solid under our feet, even though the world is more fragile than we realize. We're thanking Hashem for having a steady place to stand and live on. One thing that you noticed about most of these brachot that we're reading is it's, even though it says like physical stuff like ground or like earth over water or strength to the weary, stuff like that, we're not talking about physical stuff. We're talking about emotional stuff and spiritual stuff. It's very interesting. The next uh, blessing that we say is Amechin mitzadei gaver, yeah, who prepares the steps of men. So what does that mean? By the way, when it says man, it doesn't mean like a man. It means human being. And this blessing is about direction. We make choices, but not everything is in our control. This blessing says, my path today isn't random. My steps are being guided even when I don't see it yet. So you have to always remember that everything that Hashem does, this is also part of bitachon and emunah. Everything that Hashem does is for us. Hashem is pure goodness. And yesterday when I made my chizuk, I spoke about how long have I been going for? 23 minutes. I want to make sure that I don't go over time, even though it is recorded. So if you want to leave at any point, you could always rewatch it on my YouTube. For the people who are joining us, we're talking about the morning blessings that we say every morning, and not the alachot, but the actual meanings and what they mean, so that we know what we're saying every single day. Even if you say just one bracha every day, it's okay. Take it upon yourself, if you can, to add one bracha every week. If you can't do every week, every month, add one bracha. It's not going to take you long. It's going to take you literally 2 seconds. Sifriya.org or a sidur. If anybody cannot afford a sidur, I will gladly sponsor it for you. Reach out to me. You can see my contact information, whoever is on Zoom and on YouTube. You can see my contact information right all the way over there. You can email me. You can reach me on social media. You can reach me on the phone. Always feel free to contact me. If anybody cannot afford a sidur, everybody should have a sidur. If you cannot afford one, you can find one online. If you cannot find it online, I will buy you a sidur so that you can read it in person and not over the phone virtual. Please, guys, this is very important to say at least Modeh Ani every morning. It's not gonna take you more than 5 seconds to say. I think it was 13 words. So the next thing that we say is Shasali Kol Tzarki. And this means who provided all my needs. This blessing, thanks God for having what we need to function. Shoes, food, money, help, the basics. We're not talking about luxury. Something that's just enough. Usually on fast days, we skip this blessing because the focus is to, not have those things on fast days. But this is why we say it every day. The next one is Ozer Israel Bigvura. Ozer Israel Bigvura, who gives Israel strength. This blessing, thanks God for the inner strength and self-control. It's about being able to hold yourself together, stay grounded. Modani is 12 words. I'm sorry. Somebody just commented that. Thank you so much. But that's what I mean. It shouldn't take you more than a maximum is gonna take you 12 seconds if you say a word every second. It's the easiest thing you can do. And even if you can't do that, let's say you can't say Modani, say thank you Hashem. 3 words, 3 seconds. When you wake up, the second you wake up, before you check your phone, before you say good morning to your partner, before you do anything, thank you Hashem. Simple. Anyway, so going back to what I was saying, who gives Israel strength? It's a blessing for inner strength and self-control. It's being able to hold yourself together, stay grounded, and face the world with resilience as a Jew. So whenever we say Israel, we're not talking about Israel, the country. We're talking about Israel, Bnei Israel. Israel is Yaakov. We're Bnei Yaakov, Bnei Israel. Yaakov and Israel are words that are nirdaf. It's I don't know how to say this in English, but it's words that interchangeable words. So remember that we have strength because we're Bnei Israel, Bnei Yaakov. Oter Israel betifora, who crowns Israel with honor. This blessing is about identity and not pride. I mean identity and pride, not ego, I meant to say. My apologies. It thanks God for giving the Jewish people meaning, responsibility, and a sense that their life matters. So whenever we say this blessing, I spoke about this in my past session, my last session. I spoke about this, that why are we saying that we are better than Goyim? And actually, we're about to talk about it in the next bracha. We're not better than the Goyim. Hashem came to every nation, offered them the Torah. They declined. We're the ones that said Na'aseh v'nishma. So we have more reward, but at the same time, we have more responsibility that we have to take over. So the next part we say, Shelo asani goy, or a woman says, Shelo asani goya, for not making me a goy, or person who is not part of our, not Jewish, a non-Jewish person. So this blessing is not about superiority. It thanks God for being born Jewish with Jewish obligations, values, and purpose. It's about the roles you were given, not about others being less. So it's not, I also spoke about this last night. Remember, whenever you draw a small line, how do you make it bigger? How do you make it smaller? By drawing a bigger line above it. It doesn't mean that we're making the other person smaller. We're just making ourselves bigger. Be the bigger person. Don't let anger control you. Because remember, anger is a form of idol worship. And I'm not talking about anger yelling at somebody. I'm sorry that I'm jumping subject to subject. I'm just trying to cover as much as I can in as little time as I can. And I want to make sure that it remains interesting and engaging. And if you have any questions, guys, on any platform, feel free to ask it, because I see all the comments except I think the people on TikTok. I don't see those comments. But yeah, so like I was saying, remember, don't let your anger control you. Because, and we're not talking about anger yelling at someone, hitting someone. That's not the type of anger I'm talking about. I'm talking about the anger in your heart. You can say, you know how people sometimes say, I'm fine, but inside they're burning. You can't do that. You cannot hold grudges against human beings because they are Hashem. In their soul, they are Hashem. Who are you to get mad at Hashem? Tell me this. You cannot do that. Moving forward. Shelo asani aved, or shelo asani shivcha, which means who did not make me a slave. Shivcha is for a woman, aved is for a man. This blessing thanks God for freedom, from not being owned by another person, for having the ability to choose, grow, and live independently. Nowadays, Baruch Hashem, in the United States where we live, there's no such thing as slaves, excuse me. No such thing as slaves. And this is the most beautiful thing ever, because we have freedom. You know, a lot of people are saying, I don't have freedom. Yes, you do. You get to choose. A lot of people make this argument, oh, back in the day, slaves had to do a lot of stuff, but at least they had free food and free shelter. So right now we don't have free food and free shelter, but we're still slaves to employers. And to those people, you know what I say? I'll tell you what I say. To those people, I say you still can choose anything that you can do. Meaning, if let's say you're working in the morning and then at night you want to go and do something else, you can do that. You think as a slave you were able to do that? As a slave, you had to work non-stop. Whatever your master demands is what you have to do. So this is why we say thank you, Hashem, for not for giving us freedom. The next one that we're gonna talk about is something that makes a lot of people uncomfortable, but I want to explain it very, very well. I'm actually gonna read from this book, Ask the Rabbi, by Rabbi Chaim Mintz. I told you guys about this book last time, and I really want to talk about it. Shelo asani isha, who did not make me a woman. That's what a man says, and the girl says Baruch she'asani kirtzona. The woman says, thank you for doing for who made me according to his will. Now a lot of people say, what is this? This is like an anti-feminist. Doesn't make sense. Why are you saying that God didn't make me a woman and that he did whatever he wants according to his will? So I'm gonna open up right now over here, page 128, chapter 49. Somebody asked the rabbi. I'm gonna read this word for word. Why do men recite the blessing Shelo asani isha, thanking Hashem for not being created a woman? That sounds as if the male population is considered superior. Is that really the Jewish perspective? I find that hard to believe, since there were many Jewish women who reached great spiritual heights, some even becoming prophetess and accomplishing wonderful things for the Jewish nation. Now the rabbi answered here. I'm not going to read that word for word, whatever the rabbi answered, but I'm going to tell you the basics of the gist of what he was trying to say. So every man and woman serve Hashem in their own way. He gives an analogy for this. Whenever you have an orchestra, you have many musical instruments. You have a piano, you have a what it's called, guitar, you have I don't know, all types of instruments. I can't name them out off the top of my head. And each one is adding to the specific, each one is adding something specific. And together, they make a symphony. So similarly, through team effort, each member of the Jewish nation does something. For example, the woman prepares whatever she needs for the house, or maybe the man can even prepare something that he needs for the house, whatever it is. But women don't have the mitzvah of learning Torah. They don't need it. They're not bound by that. The woman does not need to learn. They don't have the mitzvah of learning Torah. The man does. The woman does. Why? Because she has other priorities. She has to take care of the kids. A man is not born to breastfeed. A woman is. It's not about being anti-feminist or being feminist. Each one has their own job in the world. Same way like the orchestra. The piano can make guitar sounds and the guitar cannot make piano sounds. Remember that when you work together and when you each instrument working as to what they need to do, it makes a beautiful symphony. And this is the most beautiful analogy ever that Rabbi Chaim Mintz wrote, and I love it. Moving forward, this blessing is big, very big blessing. It's I'm gonna read it out loud, and then we're gonna talk about it. ברוך אתה השם אלוקינו מלך העולם, המעביר חבלי שינה מעיניי ותנומה מאף אפיי. ויהי רצון מלפניך, השם אלוקינו ואלוקי אבותינו, שתרגילני בתורתך ותדביקני במצוותיך, ואל תביאני לידי חטא, ולא לידי עוון, ולא לידי ניסיון, ולא לידי ביזיון, ותרחיקני מיצר הרע, ותדביקני ביצר הטוב, וחוף את יצרי להשתבד לך, ותנני היום ובכל יום לחן ולחסד ולרחמים בעיניך ובעיני כל רואי, וגמלני חסדים טובים, ברוך אתה השם, גומל חסדים טובים לעמו ישראל. Now, rough translation: Blessed you are, Hashem, King of the universe, who removes the bond of sleep from my eyes and the slumber from my eyelids. And may it be your will, Hashem, my God, and the God of my fathers, that you accustomed me in your Torah and attached to me your commandments. So over here we're thanking Hashem for connecting us to the Torah. Remember, just like we said earlier, that we have extra reward, but we also have extra responsibilities. And then we say, and do not bring me to sin, nor to, I'm not sure about this word. I'm not really sure what this word means. I'm going to skip it. Nor to be tested, nor to be disgraced. So we're telling Hashem, please don't let me sin. Don't let me be tested, because tests can be hard sometimes. And don't let me be disgraced. Distance me from evil inclination and attach me to good inclination. Self-explanatory. Please distance me from the evil, bring me closer to the good, and compel my inclination to serve you. So the evil inclination, we're telling Hashem to let us, well, not the evil, like the bad thoughts that we have, let them be turned into to serve you. And grant me today and every day grace, loving kindness, and compassion in your eyes and in the eyes of all who see me, and bestow upon me good kindness. Blessed you, Hashem, who bestows good kindness to his nation Israel. So what we're saying here is pretty self-explanatory. We're just telling Hashem, thank you for giving us kindness. I hope you give us kindness. Step us away from the evil. Bring us closer to the good. Very self-explanatory. Not a lot to talk about over here. Next, also very self-explanatory. I'm not going to read the Hebrew part. I'm just going to read the English part. May it be the will before you, Hashem, my God, and the God of my fathers, that you spare me today and every single day from the arrogant and from arrogance, from an evil man, from an evil inclination, from an evil friend, an evil companion, from bad mishap, from the evil eyes, from slander, from difficult judgment, and from a difficult accuser, whether he's a Jew or whether he's not a Jew. So over here, again, pretty self-explanatory. We're just telling Hashem, please don't let all these evil things get in our way. The next and the last thing we're going to talk about today is Birkot Torah. Before you learn any kind of Torah, it is very important that you say Birkot Torah. Honestly, I'm going to start doing this. I'm sure that a lot of you, all of you, Be'ezrat Hashem, are saying Birkot Torah every morning. But whoever doesn't, I'm going to start in the beginning of my sessions, I'm going to put Birkot Torah, because before you learn any kind of Torah, whatever, even if it's one halacha, you're supposed to say Birkot Torah. And this is for thanking Hashem that he gave us that Torah, and he gave us the rewards, and again, the responsibilities and the rewards that are attached to the Torah. So we have to say thank you to Hashem for the Torah. So the blessing is Baruch Ata Hashem Elokeinu Melech Haolam Asher Kidishanu B'Mitzvotav V'Tzivanu Al Divrei Torah. And we're saying to Hashem that blessed you are Hashem, King of the universe, who has sanctified us with his commandments and has commanded us regarding the words of the Torah. So before learning anything, Judaism is teaching you that wisdom isn't neutral. Before you think, before you argue, before you analyze the world, you acknowledge the source of the meaning. Torah isn't information, it's alignment. It shapes how you think, not just what you know. And then we say, וערב נא השם אלוקינו את דברי תורתך בפינו בפיות עמך בית ישראל, ונהיה אנחנו וצאצאינו וצאצאי צאצאינו כולנו ידי שמך ולומדי תורתך לשמה, ברוך אתה השם המלמד תורה לעמו ישראל. And sweeten for us, Hashem, our words, the words of the Torah in our mouths and in the mouths of your nation, the house of Israel, and let us and our offspring and our offspring's offspring and the offspring of your nation, the house of Israel, all know your name. Learn your Torah for its own sake. Blessed are you, Hashem, who teaches the Torah to his nation Israel. Pretty self-explanatory. I'm actually going to give you guys a beautiful story that I heard a long time ago. There was once a school, it's an orphanage, where some rich couple wanted to take all the Jewish kids to give them to put them into yeshiva, but it was a mixed orphanage, so there was Jews, non-Jews, secular Jews, non-secular Jews, whatever it was. And whenever that couple, the rich couple, they came to the orphanage owners, they told them, "Hey, can we take all your Jewish kids?" And they said, "Are you crazy? There's millions of Jewish kids. How are you gonna find millions of kids? How are you gonna find all the Jewish ones?" You know what he told them? He told them, let me tell them one sentence, and you'll see how all the Jewish kids are gonna come to me." Went up on the stage. All the kids are around. Takes the mic, and he says, "Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad." Everybody knows this. Every Jew should know this. Shema Yisrael is the most beautiful thing that we have to say three, three times. Yeah, in the morning we say it, in the night we say it, in the Arvit, in Shacharit, in Arvit, and in before we go to sleep. So those kids, why did they get all riled up? Because their parents used to tell them to say Shema Israel every night. Every night. So in the morning you say Modeh Ani, thank you Hashem. At night we say Shema Israel. It's the most beautiful thing ever. And we're gonna learn about Shema Israel Be'ezrat Hashem next week. We're gonna talk about all the whatever we say in Shema Israel and all the things that come with it. So remember, always teach your kids. You see, it says our offspring and our offspring's offspring and the offspring of your nation. Always teach your kids Torah as much as you can. Your kids and your kids' kids, whoever it is, make sure to teach them Torah. ברוך אתה השם אלוקינו מלך העולם אשר בחר בנו מכל העמים ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה השם נותן התורה. Blessed are you, Hashem, King of the universe, who chose us from all the nations and gave us his Torah. Blessed are you, Hashem, who gives the Torah. Again, self-explanatory. And then after that, we say part of the Torah. So we say, וידבר השם אל משה לאמור, דבר אל אהרון ואל בניו לאמור, כה תברכו את בני ישראל, אמור להם, יברכך אדוני וישמרך, האר אדוני פניו אליך ויחונקה, יישא אדוני פניו אליך וישם לך שלום, ושמו את שמי אל בני ישראל ואני אברכם. In this case, I could say God's name because it's a pasuk, but it's better not to say God's name in vain. But in this case, it's a pasuk, so you can always say like Shema Israel and any pasuk from the Torah, you can say out loud as long as you're learning it. So over here, again, we're just reciting something from the Torah. So I believe each and every, Ashkenazim and Sfaradim and, any other part of the Jewish nation, we say something else over here, if I'm not mistaken. But this is what we say, Edot HaMizrach, the Bukharians, the Persians, we all say this pasuk. So, when you take a step back and look at the whole morning, you realize something powerful. You wake up, you're trusted again by Hashem, you wash and remember that your actions matter, and you thank your body and remember how fragile life is. You thank your soul and remember why life matters, and you relearn how to see the world, how to stand, how to move, how to belong, and only to do your step into the day. So the first step you do into the day, this is everything that you are doing. Everything that we just spoke about. Saying all of this from start to finish, right here. Modeh Ani, על נטילת ידיים, אשר יצא, אלוקי נשמה, all the blessings of the morning, and this is all part of the blessings of the morning and the blessings of the Torah. Saying all of this should not take you more than 10 minutes. And remember, add one bracha every day or every week or every month, whatever it is that you can do. And one thing that you should, very important, don't forget, if you don't have a siddur, reach out to me. I'll get you a siddur in Russian, in English, in Spanish, in Hebrew. I don't care what it is. If you cannot go to sifriya.org, I will get you a siddur sponsored 100%. Send me your address, send me what language you need, and I will send it to you. 100% sponsored. If you don't want to wait for that, sifriya.org. If you don't understand the Hebrew, read the English. Don't read the Hebrew. Read the English. If you could read the Hebrew after you read the English, so you understand what you're saying. The whole purpose of a bracha is to be able to know what you're saying. I hope everybody had an amazing Shabbat. I hope that everybody has an amazing week. Thank all of you for joining this session. I can't even explain to you how I am so glad that you guys are all here, and it is not taken for granted. Be'emet, I really appreciate every single soul that's here, and I wish you guys a Shavua Tov. If you have any questions, please, please, please reach out. Email, social media, phone, 24/7 except Shabbat. You can always reach out to me. It does not matter if it's a small question or a big question. You can even ask me, how do you pronounce it? And I will tell you. I will stay with you on the phone. I will even meet you in person if you want to. And I will help you to say the bracha, how it needs to be said. And I will explain anything that you didn't understand to the best of my ability. Perhaps maybe I can learn something new as I am teaching, as I am doing right now. I hope everybody has a Shavua Tov. And remember, this live will be on YouTube under the live section in YouTube for a long time. Don't forget, Judaism is Derech Ha'Chaim, the way of your life. Thank you, everyone.